Hey there, you're watching the Jessa Channel on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and today I am here with more Skyrim. I am here with Mala and her companions, Inigo, and little Jorin.
Notice there are no toilets here. I must be the only man who ever has the need.
Interesting that he said man. Instead of Khajiit or cat, or I don't know what they would refer to themselves as. We are ready here at the, let's get a bit of water, to head up to High Hrothgar, and we're making our way out of Iverstead right now.
On your way up the 7,000 steps again, Klimek?
Not today. I'm just not ready to make the climb to High Hrothgar. The path isn't safe.
Aren't the Greybeards expecting some supplies?
Honestly, I'm not certain. I've yet to be allowed into the monastery. Perhaps one day.
Excuse me.
Passing through on your way to High Hrothgar? About to make a delivery up there myself.
Yes, I am. I heard you mention High Hrothgar, and I happen to be heading that way, myself and my companions. I'm wondering if there's anything you can tell me about it.
I've been to the monastery many times, but I've never even laid eyes on one of the Greybeards. Not that I'd care to. Being masters of the Thu'um, they could kill you by uttering a single word. Well, not that they would. They seem peaceful, but I wouldn't want to provoke them.
You mentioned that you make deliveries to High Hrothgar. Do they often need supplies?
Mostly food supplies like dried fish and salted meats. You know, things that keep fresh for a long time. The Greybeards tend not to get out much, if you catch my meaning.
And what do you receive in return for this generous service?
Well, it's kind of an understanding between us. I mean, it just wouldn't feel right to charge them for a bit of preserved food. Trouble is, my legs aren't what they used to be, and climbing the 7,000 steps takes its toll.
I can imagine that it does. I am heading that way. I would be happy to deliver some supplies for you.
Really? Well, that would be kind of you. Here, take this bag of supplies. At the top of the steps, you'll see the offering chest. Just leave the bag inside, and you're done.
Thank you. I shall. I'll let you know how it goes.
Be careful up there.
I shall. Well, Jorin, let us go. We should not keep these Greybeards waiting any longer, shall we? You can see when Mala stands next to, in fact, I'll just do that one more time so you can see. Might not be so effective on an incline, though, so let me wait till I'm on a flat spot. Which, by the way, I probably won't be on another flat spot for a while, since we're about to climb these steps. But Mala is very short in comparison to Inigo, as you can see. It's kind of hard to see there, but yeah. She's tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Mala, we want to look out for... here's one already. These are important to read to find out the story. Before the birth of men, the dragons ruled all Mundus. Their word was the voice, and they spoke only for true needs. For the voice could blot out the sky and flood the land. Whenever you see Mala being shoved into something, that's... it's almost always Jorin. So, I have...
Yes, a spider.
Oh, did you see that? It looked very much like Jorin just made a spitting noise after... That was great. After being put in that thing. And you can also see this lovely get-up that he's sporting here, this hood. And it's nice. He's got a little cape going on there. Oh, and good. My items collected, so that's good. I was worrying that my auto harvest mod, which is very trusty, Excellent mod was not working. Oh, those spiders are so disgusting. You are very right, Mala. They are absolutely disgusting. Not the kind of spider that you can just hit with a shoe. There is no such spider like that I have ever seen. Well, where I come from, Mala, spiders are a lot smaller. Oh, look at this. Absolutely amazing. Gorgeous.
This land is very pretty.
I was just saying the same myself, Inigo. I agree. So as we make our way up, I thought I might read another book to you all. This one is called An Accounting of the Elder Scrolls. And as I have mentioned before... Oh, here comes a person. A traveler on the way. Hello.
Keep an eye out for wolves if you're headed up the path to High Hrothgar.
Ah, wolves, thank you very much. I'm wondering what you are doing on the path.
I like to spend time up here. Walk the steps. Meditate on the emblems. Doesn't hurt when I bag some game along the way.
I see. You're also a man who is very hardy because you have very little clothing on in such cold weather. Have you seen the Greybeards yourself? I have not yet met anyone who has.
They're not the sort to take visitors. But I never go that high up the path anyway. Some folk who make the trip leave them food or other essentials, but not to make conversation.
I see. I heard a while back, come from this mountain, and since you were on the mountain at the time, more than likely, did you hear the Greybeards called Dovahkiin?
I did. Strange days when the monks will do that. I wonder what it means.
Well, my friend, I am on my way to hopefully find out. Good travels to you.
Good day.
So I was saying that I would read a book for you, but when we run into these tablets, I will also pause and bring the tablet up so you can read it on screen. I am aware that a lot of people do listen to my Let's Play in the background, which I think is great, wonderful, glad to have you. And but if you want to know what these emblems say, if you haven't played Skyrim, you'll have to tune in. You'll have to watch the screen because there's going to be something playing. But I will read this one for you now. Emblem 2. Men were born and spread over the face of Mundus. The dragons presided over the crawling masses. Men were weak then and had no voice. Imagine being unable to shout. It's like I cannot remember my life before I had this voice. Oh, Inigo. You meditate? Wonderful. You're such a cool cat, eh? Cool cat. So that's emblem number 2. Oh, what's the matter, Mala? I'm getting a bit cold. Let me stop and get my other cloak out of my pack. I believe I have that cloak favorited. Favorited. There we go, yeah. And let's see. You got everything? Yay! Look at you, Mala. You really... Look at her. Isn't she? I swear. I just think Mala's just awesome. Complete with her elf ears sticking out of her hood. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show you one other really cool thing. Mala, I'm going to ask you to take off your cloak, or your cape. Let me say that again. Your hood for a minute, because... I want to show the viewers this. Look at that. She's got some cool earrings now. And awesome thing about these earrings is that they can be enchanted. They're available on necklace. You know that necklace site where you can get all those Skyrim mods? They're available on Nexus. And I don't remember the name of the author. I just put them in. I haven't had any problems with them. But they really round out Mala's look completely, as well as her kind of short-haired look here. But anyway, now that she has a cloak on, she's going to freeze to death if we don't get her a nice hood on her. And you don't often get to see Mala's pretty hair, her pretty gray and blue, gray and black hair, because she's always wearing this hood. Except when we're in a city, then you can see it. Anyway, so without further ado, let's put the story on. Once again, this is an accounting of the Elder Scrolls. An Accounting of the Elder Scrolls by Quintus Neravellis, former Imperial Librarian. After the supposed theft of an Elder Scroll from our Imperial Library, I endeavored to find any sort of index or catalog of the scrolls in our possession, so that such situations may be avoided, or at least properly verified, in the future. To my dismay, I discovered that the moth priests are notoriously inexact when it comes to the actual physical manifestations of the scrolls, and had no idea how many they held or how they were organized. Merely asking the question evoked chuckles, as if a child was asking why dogs cannot talk. I will confess, my jealousy of the ones who can read the scrolls grows, but I am not yet willing to sacrifice my slight to alleged knowledge. The older moth priests I attempt to engage in conversation seem as batty as any other elder who has lost their mind, so I fail to see what wisdom is imparted from the reading. In any case, I set out to create my own index of the Elder Scrolls, in cooperation with the monks. Day by day, we went through the tower halls, with them telling me the general nature of each Elder Scroll, so that I might record its location. Always careful never to glimpse the writings myself, I had only their word to go on. I meticulously drew out a map of the chambers, where scrolls relating to various specific prophecies were located, where particular periods of history were housed. In all, it took nearly a year of plotting, but at last I had rough notes on the entirety of the library to begin my collation. It was here that things began to go amiss. In studying my notes, I found many areas of overlap and outright contradiction. In some cases, different monks would claim the same scroll to be at opposite ends of the tower. I know they have no taste for jesting, or else I would suspect I was being made fool in some game of theirs. I spoke to one of the older monks to relate my concerns, and he hung his head in sorrow for my wasted time. "Did I not tell you," he coughed, "when you started this that all efforts would be futile? The scrolls do not exist in countable form." "I had thought you meant there were too many to be counted." "There are, but that is not the least of their complexities. Turn to the repository behind you, and tell me how many scrolls are locked therein." I'm going to pause, because I realize I can just pause and read these emblems and then go back to the story. I hope that's not too distracting for you all to listen to. This is Emblem 3. The fledgling spirits of men were strong in old times, unafraid to war with dragons and their voices. But the dragons only shouted them down and broke their hearts. This is Emblem 3. I ran my fingers over the metal casings, tallying each rounded edge that they encountered. I turned back. 14, I said. Hand me the 8th one, he said, reaching out his hand. I guided the cylinder into his palm, and he gave a slight nod to acknowledge it. Now count again. Humoring him, I again passed my hands over the scrolls, but could not believe what I was feeling. Now, there are 18, I gasped. The old monk chuckled, his cheeks pushing up his blindfold until it folded over itself. In fact, he said, there always were. It was then that I enrolled as the oldest novice ever accepted into the cult of the Ancestor Moth. That was a very short story. And, because I'm pretty sure it just repeats there. I think I may have the repeat on.
And accounting.
Yep, I do. So, so the takeaway from that was that, no matter how many Elder Scrolls that you take, there's always 18. And this was so interesting to the writer of that story that they chose to become an Ancestor Moth, which is a person who is blind, because they have read the Elder Scrolls, who caretakes the Elder Scrolls. I am no lore master. Oh, look at this. Wow. That's gorgeous. That's the wind blowing over the snow. Oh. How are you doing, Mala? Oh, I'm cold. I'm very cold. But this cloak is keeping me warm, and I do have a fire spell to heat my feet if I need to. Look at this person sitting here. To sit in this cold must require some extraordinary dedication. Hello.
Keep an eye out for wolves if you're headed up the path to High Hrothgar.
I will, thank you for that tip. What do you do here? What are you doing on the path?
Just a pilgrim. I'd prefer to leave it at that, if you don't mind.
I'd like to ask those of you who have played a lot of Skyrim, does Karita, this character here, play any more role in Skyrim than, like, does she have a story that can be found out at some other point, or is she just, that's pretty much all we get from it? Because I'd like to know, what else she's doing here, why she's sitting in this cold. Anyway, what are you doing here?
Walking the steps, meditating on the emblems. I make this trip every few years.
Because what I'm wondering is, after we talk to her, will she eventually go down the mountain into some place in Skyrim? I'm wondering, did you, since you may have been here at the time, did you hear the Greybeards call Dovahkiin?
I was just outside Iverstead when it happened. It's an exciting moment. Nothing like this has happened in centuries.
Well...
Until next time.
Thank you. Excuse me, I will just step forward and read this etching. This is number 4. Kine called on Parthenax, who pitied man. Together they taught men to use the voice. Then dragon war raged. Dragon against tongue. Oh. So, Kine... Is this correct, Guardian Angel? That Kine is perhaps a god of some sort? The one who gave me the last dragon shout called Kine's Peace? I don't know, Mala. Unfortunately, I'm not so good at knowing the lore. I'm learning about Skyrim as I go along, same as you. Oh, that's just a goat. I do not want to do battle with you, goat. So, once again, I shall ask other Guardian Angels if anyone can tell me about Kine. Leave me a comment below if you know of anything. I will be very glad to gain entrance.
Hope we don't run into a dragon here.
A dragon? Where? I don't see any dragon. I don't hear one either. But just to be... I will take out my javelins. Oh no! That's not a dragon, but it is even worse.
Smelly troll.
Watch out, Inigo! Let me get him. Ah, Inigo, I cannot take aim.
My ear. You.
Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, I need some poison. You smell like dung. Poison. Let's get a... We don't need a poison of slow. Trolls are already slow enough. Stamina doesn't really help, but it's only got a little bit of health here, but, you know. By the way, before I continue, I will show you guys that I, Miss Chicken, the official Skyrim chicken, oops, that's not what I meant to do, has raised her difficulty grudgingly. I was on Apprentice. I started off at Novice. For a long time I was there. And then I was at Apprentice when we were just going through Shrouded Hearth. The first 2 parts of Shroud Hearth. Now I'm on Adept. So I handled that room, that boss fight, on Adept. I'm not prepared to go any higher than that yet. We'll see as time goes on.
Die.
You did it on your own! Well, I barely got my shot in. I didn't even get to put the poison on, I think. Very good, Inigo. Thank you for your help. So Inigo, as you can see, is set to be Ranger. Oh, and also, one more thing. I hope you're watching this episode. But this is for Gary, who is the creator of Inigo, who left me a very, very kind note about my playthrough with Inigo, giving me some tips. He gave me a great tip, which sometimes works and sometimes does not. Where I can click on Inigo like this, using it would be your E key for default, and hold down your activation key, whatever that is, E key, in my case it's the spacebar, and hold it down, and it sometimes goes, which it sometimes, as you can see right now, is not working.
You want to ask me something?
But it will take you to your I need you to do something menu.
I will aid you if I can.
And it's a way to avoid having to go into the menu to ask the follower to do something. Unfortunately, for reasons I have not been able to determine, it's buggy for me and doesn't work all the time. Oops. I didn't mean to do that.
Shall we continue?
Now I've got to tell him to follow me again because he's in wait mode.
Everything okay?
Nope. Okay. That's good.
Let us go.
Alright. So, and just to make sure, Gary taught me another thing, which is to go into sneak mode to make sure he's still following me is the quickest way to do so. And one last little piece of information here. Let me take you over here to Inigo. And let's just talk to him for a minute and see if he has any thoughts to share.
I see you found Inigo the Brave. It's just a little thing I've been working on. It is probably rubbish. Hand it over, and if we're relaxing somewhere safe, I'll read it to you if you want.
Well, certainly I will. I'm gonna give it to him now.
What is yours is mine.
And that's another thing that Larry told me, is that he will read Inigo the Brave to us, which I think is fantastic. And I hope he does more books. Deeply hope he does more books. And we'll also continue to read Inigo's journal to kind of get some backstory on him as well, too. Cool cat that he is.
If you need anything else, just ask.
Just love Inigo. He's so awesome. But one of the things I wanted to tell you was
If this
that
weather keeps up, maybe I'll grow a white coat.
that the developer of Inigo, the creator of Inigo, is Scottish. And if you just listen to his voice, as we just did right then, I never, ever would have, I never would have figured that out. As far as that voice acting is just, so good. It's so good. And the microphone he uses is good, really good. Better probably than not better probably, better definitely than the one I'm using. And to me, it doesn't sound out of place. It sounds exactly like the other Skyrim NPCs, except just, better quality and more interesting. So yeah, he did a great job, and I'm really glad he's watching along the playthrough. And so here's a little shout out for you, Gary. Thanks for Inigo.
Snow in my eye.
See what I mean? Yeah. The second most interesting follower I've ever found is called Gore from Interesting NPCs. But even he kind of wore thin because he had one basic thing that he talked about, and he repeated those things. And I haven't heard Inigo repeat too much yet.
A good companion. We keep each other safe, yes?
So there's a lot that I'm hearing that he's saying for the first time, and it's, by this time, most of their followers, after going through one dungeon, you've heard everything they have to say, basically. Anyway, next tablet. This is number 5. Man prevailed, shouting Alduin out of the world, proving for all that their voice was too strong, although their sacrifices were manyfold. So here, men prevailed. Okay. So, Guardian Angel, who is this Alduin? Oh, Mala. Well, I can tell you that Alduin is that dragon that we saw over Helgen. Really? You do not jest me? Oh, of course not, Mala. They're gonna lie about that or just make up a joke. Oh yeah, that's Alduin. No, Mala, that was Alduin. And I don't know much about him except that he is called the World Eater, so he can't be a good guy, I'm guessing. Oh. How much longer do we have to go? I don't know, Mala. I mean, I guess we ought to find a place to camp pretty soon if you're getting cold. We could get a fire. There's at least still trees around. That's a good idea. Oh, the snow. Oh my gosh, look at that snow texture. Wow. The reason I'm still kind of going wow, wow, wow is because a lot of these things I haven't seen since getting the new computer and the new video card that came this week. I had, with my computer, I had gotten a GTX 660. And it was great. It really was in many ways. It made the graphics astounding. And actually, I think a little bit better than the card I have now. Just a touch better. But it kept crashing. The drivers kept crashing no matter what I did, including a very miserable week with Windows 8. Miserable. So I eventually gave up and got a Radeon 7870. So, and I haven't used a Radeon card before. I've always used NVIDIA cards, so this is going to be new. But so far it's performing very well and not giving me any trouble and staying at about 50 to 55 degrees Celsius during what I call heavy gaming, which is heavy Skyrim with mods. So this is emblem number 6. With roaring tongues, the Sky Children conquer founding the first empire with sword and voice, whilst the dragons withdrew from this world. That's pretty cool. Sky Children. So that means now that I am also a Sky Child, because I can speak the way of the dragons. That's true, Mala. So Mala, let's get going on putting up a camp, and we'll just put it right here. So let's move Inigo and everybody over here. Actually, you know what? I lied. Let's put it right. This is a place where people have been walking through, which means maybe that this is a dungeon or tunnel or something? No? No? But people, oh, I see people crouch under here when the weather is bad. I do not blame them, but we cannot put a tent there on that uneven space. So we will come down here and put it right in the middle of the path, as I do not think anyone will be walking through. Oh! The sun is going down. So yes, it is a good idea to make a camp right now. I'm going to use my trusty camping light mod, which I love so much. Did I mention how much I love the mod? Actually, but let me cancel because I want it to be in a different way. I want it to be this way, so that we're looking out towards the sun. So kind of facing like this. And my companions are going to have a tent over their head in a second. Mala will just, I love this mod so much because Mala will just lean down like this. Oh, it's blocked or not flat enough. Let me move my companions out of the way. Actually, let's try this. Right here. It'll go on most ground. I've put it on some pretty wonky places, as you can see, like this, you know. Oh, and you know what? I just realized that Jorin's been hungry for a while. I think I haven't fed him in a while. Yep. Oops. If you don't feed him in a while, his disposition towards you goes down, which I hate. Oh, good. Okay. In the last, in season 1, his disposition got to be in the negative because Mala kept accidentally hitting him with her javelins. And she's gotten to be a better fighter now. Okay, so we have a nice tent looking out towards the beautiful sunset. And then let's scoot in here. We need some wood. So let's head over to a tree. I think this one will do fine. And Mala's going to chop some wood by just clicking here and gather wood. I've tried so many camping mods. And this one is by far the best for simplicity's sake. You know, there are a lot of camping mods that allow you to do a lot of different things. But this said you did not find any wood, try another tree, which I like because it means that there's some, you know, kind of balance to the play. You don't always find wood. And it also has this neat feature. So we have 2 more firewood, small firewood. Has a neat feature where if you're away from the camp for a little bit, you can then fast travel back to the camp. And so, you know, I realized that all the fancy stuff is great, but in the end, if it took ages to set it up or blah, blah, blah. My only complaint about this mod that I've mentioned before is the tedium in setting it up. And I just gave up and went to the console. It involves a lot of smithing, which Mala does not do. That's why I use a mod that allows me to hire smithing services.
Is unique, like me.
And then you just click here, click make a campfire. She'll bend down, get some wood clipping there, and there's a fire. And the other great thing about it is that she didn't have to worry about carrying a pot or all that kind of stuff, all that messy stuff, or putting them. You just go up here and boom, you can cook right on the fire. Simple, easy. Let's see if we have anything we need to cook. I don't think so because we haven't gathered any food or bought any more food. I'm saving her vegetable because she uses her vegetables just to make vegetable soup because, as I learned from the Couch Warrior, vegetable soup is a very good, very, very good food for stats. And so Mala can just, you know, sit down here. There's also, as you can see, and not in the fire. There's also a bench to sit on, a log to sit on, which Mala will do. Move everybody out of the way. And, oh, look at this. Let's leave it here with little Jorin looking at us as we feel the warmth of the fire at our backs, our companions with Inigo looking at everything, and we're clipping through his arm there. But he's observing the beauty, and so is Mala, and Jorin's observing Mala as he always is. And I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit the thumbs up button below and encourage me. And if you loved what you saw, join the party, the ever-growing party, and subscribe. I'll see you back here in Skyrim as we continue on to meet the Greybeards in the next episode. Thank you, as always, for watching. Get every new Jessa Channel video right in your email inbox. Subscribe, then, from your YouTube homepage, click Manage Subscriptions, then check Email with new uploads. And thanks for watching.